This is not me saying I think vampires are real. This is me saying, wouldn't it be neat if vampires were real? Hey everybody, it is Coby and I am back with another video. Today we are doing another cryptid. We're doing another... Okay, I don't have a favorite cryptid. I love all of them. This is another one of the ones that I've been interested in for a long time. There's that. It's not a favorite, it's just a long-standing interest. By long-standing interest, I mean that ever since I learned about it as like a 9 or 10-year-old, I would have nightmares about it, and I would be so afraid that this thing was just going to come and do its little thing, and I was going to be scared about it. So when I say favorite, that's what I mean. But that creature is the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a Latin American cryptid, the name being Spanish for goat sucker because of just kind of what it is known to do. We'll get to that. The legend goes that this Chupacabra drains the blood from livestock, such as goats, sheep, chickens, domesticated dogs. Like, I could go on, you get the idea. Those, like, you go to a farm, you're gonna see these things, and that's what the Chupacabra wants to drain the blood from. I also heard someplace in some documentary a long time ago that it would rip out the spine of the things it was killing, but in my research this week, in preparation for the video, I couldn't find that anywhere, so I don't know if that was to further scare child me watching this documentary or what, but that's a fact that is in my brain that I couldn't find in any research, so take it for a grain of salt, I guess. Chupacabra has two main descriptions that people have been giving of it. Most depict it as like a strange dog with a very pronounced spine and hollowed in eye sockets. Others say it's more reptilian, which is like this lizard thing on two legs, like kind of like a kangaroo, but also like a fucking creature thing. I don't know. I do need to note that at the time of those reptilian descriptions, a sci-fi horror movie called Species had just come out that featured a creature that supposedly looked a lot like that reptilian description. I looked at pictures of this. I know special effects in 1995 aren't what they are today, so I'll give that the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it looks super similar, but I'll have a picture up here for comparison that you guys can decide. But yeah, a lot of people think that this movie was informing people's assumptions of the kind of creature that would do this kind of thing. And so most people lean towards the previous description of it being very dog-like, still very bizarre and terrifying, but very dog-like in that it's on four legs, built like a dog. They have very patchy hair or no hair. They have long tails and really long legs, saber-tooth-like fangs and claws, as well as possible spines and bristles on their shoulders and along their spine. Some even say that while it walks and acts like a rabid dog, it is still reptilian or some kind of mammal-reptile hybrid, which, as far as my knowledge of biology goes, which isn't a lot, but I don't think that's how that works. There's a very few number of different species that can interbreed, and those do not generally cross the bird, reptile, mammal, fish line. If it is possible and I just don't know that, then there's that for you. But that one seems a little far-fetched. Then again, we are talking about this thing that comes and just drains the blood from from goats and sheep. So there's that. The legend of the Chupacabra originated in Puerto Rico in 1995, and since then reports have come in from basically all of Central and South America, as well as some of the states in the Southwest USA. So the entire section of the world is just full of stories about this. Though before 1995, there was an incident in Puerto Rico in 1975 that has been retroactively attributed to the Chupacabra. Blah. At the time, it was referred to as the Vampire of Mocha because it took place in this village named Mocha. Mocha, Puerto Rico is where this took place, because what happened was that they found a bunch of slaughtered livestock that was almost completely drained of blood, and this was before the Chupacabra was established as a thing that was going around, so they thought it was the work of a satanic cult. This continued for years until the name Chupacabra was brought up in 1995, when another thing like this happened in Puerto Rico. So that's basically 20 years that at least the people in Puerto Rico and Amoca, Puerto Rico, were just finding dead livestock drained of blood. They didn't really know what, like, they just called it like this vampire creature thing. But either way, 1995 was when it really started to kind of like become a thing, because farmers and other people like around like I said, Southwest USA, Central America, South America, all like Latin America, heard about this and were like, oh, that's probably the thing that drained the blood from my goats last week. And so they also began reporting sightings or killings from the chupacabra. So that's why when you go back through to 1995, that's like the earliest research there is on it. And a lot of people do say this is connected to the movie that kind of like gave the first descriptions of this. Because initially, when people were finding these dead animals, they're like, oh, someone did this. And then when someone described a creature doing this, even though since then the creature has been described more like a dog and less like this alien lizard thing, it still keeps the name Chupacabra just because of what it does. As far as theories to what Chupacabra might be, I think it's most likely it's a dog or a coyote or some kind of hybrid of the two that just has like really bad mange and is really hungry, so it goes to kill livestock. In 2010 in Texas, a supposed chupacabra was shot by animal control and then examined by university students, where they found that this specific creature was in fact a coyote-dog hybrid with mange and like internal parasites. The article I found didn't tell me what the parasites were, but I don't know. Maybe they had like tapeworms or I don't know what parasites dogs get. My dog doesn't have parasites, so I could not tell you. All photo and video evidence I could find of it also seems to look like a dog, which matches the description, aside from the odd spine and the odd like face, as well as the spikes in the bristles. It's possible that there are rabid dogs and also these chupacabra things. It's even possible, if they're very similar, that they could like hybrids of those, and it's just like a whole thing. I'm not going to say that I don't think this exists. I'm saying that there is something that is a known thing throughout the world, really, that looks and could act like this. The one like part of this is that a dog and a coyote don't just drain a carcass of blood. Now, like I said before, I heard before, I didn't find in my research today, that there were like other things that this would do, like rip out the spines, maybe eat some of it. But the main like factor that like pinpoint something as a chupacabra like attack is if they have these like kind of triangular incision marks, which would come from those large fangs I described earlier, and then they're drained of blood. So it's possible they are just vampires. I don't know if I believe in vampires. I think it'd be very cool, especially if they get to be immortal. I would love to be immortal. I would love to become a vampire if I was allowed to be immortal. But this is not about vampires, even though it's, it's like vampire, chupacabra. They're like, they both have blood and they do the blood and fangs thing. I've never heard that a chupacabra can't see itself in a mirror or a photograph. But it would explain why there's not many good pictures of the creatures people say are chupacabras, is if they're vampires and they can't show up in pictures. I cracked the case, guys. These are just vampire dogs. It's transcended the human species. It's expanded onto more. That wasn't in my research. I just worked that out in my head right now, but that's actually pretty good. Either way, whether or not this thing is a lizard thing or a dog or a vampire dog, it's still just killing a lot of livestock. There's still brutally killed livestock found very often, like in these areas of the world, and that is something to be concerned about, because that's like livelihood, and if not livelihood, beloved pets of these people that are just finding their dead livestock. I can't find any records of the Chupacabra attacking human beings, which is a huge relief for the child in me that is still terrified of this creature. But it's most likely due to its small size that there's no reports of them attacking humans. The most common victims of its attacks are small, like goats, sheep, and chickens. And most descriptions of the creature stated to only come about knee-high or waist height on an adult person. With the way that it's supposed to like suck out the blood of its victims or rip out the spine of the victims, I'm sure this creature exists. It would be capable of killing a person, or at least a small person or a child person. So it's fascinating that there are no reports of that. My only immediate thought is that maybe Chupacabra just doesn't like the way we taste, or is just, for whatever reason, not interested in humans, which is great news for us. Another thing connected to the theory I just brought up, if like a vampire needs to drink human blood to live, then if it's like a vampire dog, you would need to drink dog blood. If it's a vampire goat, it would need to drink goat blood. Okay. I need to, this is, I'm not, I don't believe in vampires. I just think they're really cool. I need to put that out there. This is not me saying I think vampires are real. This is me saying, wouldn't it be neat if vampires were real? There we go. Like I said, great news for humans, except for the humans whose livelihood rests on the livestock and animals that are being killed by it. That's really kind of as far as my research was able to go. Like, there's no, like, all the confirmed, like, dead animals that have been tested have been confirmed to be dog coyote hybrids of some kind, or dogs with parasites, or dogs with mange. So that is what I'm kind of saying, like, probably is this. I'm not kiboshing other things, and I'm definitely interested in the idea it might be a vampire dog, because, like, is not a vampirism possibly some kind of parasite? Who knows? This isn't a vampire video. I need to calm down about that. But whether or not it's like real, or if it's a dog, or if it's just a myth, I had many sleepless nights as a child as I worried about whether, like, what I would do. I grew up in Utah, okay? That's like, I grew up in northern Utah, and northern and southern Utah, very different. Southern Utah, that's the American Southwest. There could be Chupacabra there. Northern Utah, no. That's not, we're in the Rocky Mountains up here, and that is not Chupacabra territory. That's more like Skinwalker area, and I haven't done a video on them yet, so I'll hold off on anything else about that. But being afraid of this thing was not logical at all, but I was terrified that it was going to come attack me, it was going to attack my dog, or it's going to attack my chickens, or our rabbits, or my siblings, but it never happened, and I lived to adulthood, and now I'm doing goofy little YouTube videos about these guys. So yeah, if you have any information or facts, or if you've ever seen a Chupacabra, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. If you want me to do a specific cryptid next month, go ahead and hit that down there. I moved Chupacabra up the list for this month because someone requested it, and I was like, yeah, I can do that instead of whatever the one was that was on my to-do list. I have a list of them, and I just pick and choose which ones I want to do each time I do it. Next week is going to be a dinosaur. The week after that, it's going to be a conspiracy, then another dinosaur, and then in a month, I'm going to do another cryptid. Yeah, you can find me under Coby Thinks on basically any social media that there is that I'm on. Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, YouTube. But if you are here, then you already know that. So go wild if you want to see my random shit posts. You can follow me there. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment on the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hasta la pasta. I will see you next time.